Hello. ¿En qué hablas, Johnny?
¿Qué? ¿Qué decir?
¿En qué Daf 104?
Ah, el nuevo el volumen.
Sí, 104, ¿no?
Empezamos el volumen nuevo,
Sí,
el
yo sé,
cuarto.
sí. Pero terminaron 103, ahora 104.
Terminamos a la página abajo, antes que empiece el Perec. Hay un Perec nuevo, empieza abajo,
Sí,
de, de 103b.
sí, hay una Mishnah. Ok,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yo no sé por qué está cambiando tantas veces las horas. Debe tener un jet lag increíble.
O tiene algo, y más tarde tiene, capaz que va a cenar o algo, anda a saber.
Ujú.
Yo tengo Shevabrojos hoy de noche otra vez.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
¿Dónde? ¿Dónde?
En la casa de Aggie, la hermana de
Ah, sí,
George.
la que tiene el esposo más viejo que...
Ya, 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 ya.
Ah, así era.
Ya, y anteayer tuvimos otra vez
¿En dónde?
en Shiloh.
Oh, that's nice.
Y estuvo muy lindo.
¿Quién lo hizo? Los padres
Barry,
de... Oh,
Barry.
wow.
No quiso que nos juntemos. Digo, ok, no querés, no querés.
All right. Sí,
We'll see. Ay, Walter.
Hello, Mario. Hello, Johnny.
Ay, ay, ay. Ah, so where's the boss?
sleeping probably.
Oh, you called him.
Mhm.
Good evening, everybody.
Yeah, good evening.
Hello.
Hey, we start a new sugya, new perek. Kol basar b'cholav. Kol basar asur levashel b'cholav. All meats you can't cook with milk. This Tanakama holds that it's behemoths, chayas, and birds that you may not cook with milk. Even though it says lo savashel gedi b'chalevi mo, which is a goat, through Misora we learn that it's all the kinds of meats. By the way, basar b'cholav, there's three averas. You can't cook meat and milk. You can't eat meat and milk. And you can't have anoah from meat and milk that's cooked together. Now, chutz mipsar dogim v'chagovim. Fish and grasshopper meat can be eaten with milk. They're not quote unquote fleshik.
Hmm.
V'aser lahalois magvin ala shulchan. You cannot put meat and cheese on the table even if they're cold. You can't you may not place meat and cheese. That's a gzeira. Chutz mipsar dogim v'chagovim. But if it's, of course, fish or grasshopper, you can. Hanoider min abasar. If you take a neder that you're not going to eat meat, mutter b'bsar dogim chagovim. Same Tanakama, they would say you would not be able to eat chayas, behemoths, and oifois, but you'd be able to eat dogim chagov. The Gemara immediately notices that ha oif osir medaraisa. Come on. Obviously, this Mishnah is seeing that mixing bird meat and milk seems to be also midaraisa. Come on. Well, that's not the law of Rabbi Kiva. The Rabbi Kiva, ha'amar chayav oif edim in the Torah. Rabbi Kiva holds that you're not allowed to eat chaya and oaf meat with milk, but that's only midrabanan. Midaraisa, it's only behema milk. Well, ema seifa. If you take a vow against meat, you also can eat fish and grasshopper. But implies even though you said the word meat, of is usr. It implied that the meat of a bird is also prohibited, which is Asan Rabbi Kiva de Omar Kol Mila de Mimlech Alei Shaliach. If you tell a shaliach, go buy me some meat, bar minehu, and whatever you buy, whatever isn't considered in that, if the shaliach asks what is included, so that's part of it. Where do we see the Rabbi Kiva? The Tnan. Hanoidim and Ayorek. If I take a vow against eating vegetables, mutter b'deluim, I can eat zucchinis. Rabbi Kiva Omar, Rabbi Kiva said that even zucchini is considered vegetable. Amar lo Rabbi Kiva, what do you mean? If a person says to a shaliach, buy me a vegetable, I didn't find any vegetables, but I only found zucchini. He has to go back to the one who said them and say, listen, do you think that is included in what you wanted? So zucchinis are not generally included when you say yorek. Otherwise, the shaliach wouldn't ask him. But Rabbi Kiva held that it was included. He looks at it generally. Rabbi Kiva said, "Armalem kein dover." I agree. Klum oimer lo matzati ale kitnias. Now, kitnias are not, which are legumes, are certainly not vegetables. But zucchini is not a question. Ela shedluim b'chlal yerek, vein kitnias b'chlal yerek. So we see that being inclusive, when you say meat, to include chicken, that is the shita of Rabbi Kiva. But comes out that Reisha Rabbanan v'sefer Rabbi Kiva. Reisha was not Rabbi Kiva because he holds oif is not min Torah. So in fact, Rav Yosef, the author of this mission, is Rebbe. And Rebbe can take two different opinions. Nasiv la liba de tanoi, benedor and sarvalak Rabbi Kiva, regarding what your terms refer to, he holds like Rabbi Kiva. But b'basar b'cholov sarvalak Rabbanan, regarding what is prohibited with meat and milk, he holds like the Chachamim that even chicken is included. However, Rav Ashi Amar Kula Rabbi Kiva, I can explain the whole mission like Rabbi Kiva. V'achi kamar. Kol ha-basar asal v'asal b'cholov, all meats, you're not allowed to cook with milk. Mehen midivrei Torah, umehen midivrei Sofrim. Some the prohibition is midoraisa, some is only mirabona. Therefore, a behema, according to Rabbi Kiva, you would get malchus. According to Rabbi Kiva, if you ate chaya, like a deer or chicken with milk, you wouldn't get malchus. It's only rabbana. And chutz mi basar dag v'chalgavim shein lo b'divrei Torah lo b'divrei sofrim. Fish and grasshoppers can be eaten with milk, according to everybody. Okay. The asr la'alos, you may not put on the table meat and cheese. Rav Yosef Shmamina, which seemed to included chicken and deer. Shmamina b'sar oif b'chol of deraisa. Must be that chicken and milk is also midaraisa. The Yisak Gedait Rabbanon, if the whole really minator you can eat it. It's only the Rabbanon that said made gzeira, chila gufa gzeira, eating it now, putting it on the table, which is a gzeira to prevent you from eating. Ana nigzar Allah to achila. We're going to make a gzeira to a gzeira. So the Gemara says, why not? We're not tamer to look as gzeira. I'll show you. There are many times where we make gzeira. For example, this not chalas chutz la'aretz. Chala, when you make dough, you have to separate challah. You have to give it to a kohen. A non-kohen cannot eat challah. But challah in chutz la'aretz is necheles imazra la shulchan. A kohen who is eating challah in chutz la'aretz can eat with a non-kohen on the same table. V'nitenes l'chol kohen sheyirtzeh. You can give it to any kohen. So there, eating challah outside of Eretz Yisrael is only rabbinin, is only drabonon, and yet they make a gzeira not to bring it onto the table either. Armali abai bishlama yesh min chalas chutz la'aretz ba'aretz. If you're telling me the case is eating chalav chutzlaretz in Eretz Yisrael, then there'd be a reason to make exer, because challah in Eretz Yisrael a zar cannot eat minat Torah. Ikela migzur mishum challah saretz d'oraisa. And v'lo gazrinon ikela mishmine el chutzlaretz mishum like lemigzerhu. We're dealing with eating it in chutzlaretz where there's no reason to make exera. Aval hacha, but regarding chicken and milk, isharis lasuke ofu gvina. If we allow you to put chicken and milk up on the table, people will get confused between meat of chicken and meat of regular meat, and you're going to come to eat basar b'cholav deraisa. Maski floor of sheshes soif tsoinin b'tsoininu. Gentlemen, if you take a piece of cold bologna and you put a piece of cold cheese on top of the bologna, that's cold and cold. There's no problem. You have to do hadocha. You have to rinse off the bologna and rinse off the cheese. And then you can eat both of them. The same thing. Even if you put meat and cheese together on the table, because we assume that we're talking about cold, the whole eating that would be midrabanan, and you're making, again, gzeira to gzeira. On Rabaya, the problem is gzeira shemayala be'ilfas roseach. What they prohibited is hot cheese in a hot pan. And then you'd have a problem because you'd be eating basar b'cholav. So klishenihu, we have another problem. A pan is not a pot that goes on the stove. You have a pot on the stove, that's a kli rishon. Then when you put it in another vessel to bring to the table, that's a kli sheni. A kli sheni does not have the ability to cook. So there's no bishul b'cholav. El gzera shemayala b'ilfas rishon. Okay. The gzera is putting up a kli rishon that's hot. Then the Mishnah says, this Mishnah says chicken can be put on a table with cheese. Of course, you can't eat it. Divrei Beis. The whole issue of eating chicken with dairy is all midrabanan. And putting it on the table is not a problem. You may not even put chicken meat on the table with cheese. Of course, you can't eat it with cheese. And this is a leniency of Beis Shammai. Beis Shulchan Amru, B'Shulchan Shorchla, we're talking about a table that you eat. But a side table, like a buffet table, one on one side, one on the other side, not a problem, as long as they're not touching. So Rabbi Yossi, Hainu Tanakama. Well, how is Rabbi Yossi saying anything different? Maybe the difference is the Komer Tanakama pligi. The Tanakama says Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel argue only in putting them on the table, but they both hold that that you can't eat it. Yet Amarle Rabbi Yossi achila gufa mikula Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. Rabbi Yossi says no. Beis Shammai also allowed you to eat it. But that can't work because v'hatnan. Rabbi Yossi Omer. Shisha dvar mikula Beis Shammai mechumra Beis Hillel. There were 6 leniencies of Beis Shammai. V'zuachas mehen. Of olei magvin ala shulchan ve'eno nechol. They were Beis Shammai. So you see this understanding of the way the Gemara wanted to say that Beis Shammai would allow you to eat it is not true because it says eno nechol. They were Beis Shammai. Ubeis Hillel omrim loy oile v'loy nechol. You can't put it up and you can't eat it. So how is Rabbi Yossi and the Tanakama not the same? Man Tanakama, Rabbi Yossi. Who is the Tana that says Beis Shammai allowed you to bring chicken and cheese on the table? Is Rabbi Yossi. And why did Rabbi Yossi not say it in his name? Because if you quote who you said the Torah from, it brings gula. Shenemar, v'atomer Esther lemelech b'shem Mordechai. Tana Agra Chamud Rav Abba. Agra was the father-in-law of Rav Abba. He said, "Ofu gvina necholim ba'pikorin." You can eat cheese and then chicken, you can eat chicken and then cheese without any doing it. Like you don't have to rinse your mouth out, you can just eat it. Hutari lavu amerla, you don't have to wash your hands, you don't have to clean out your mouth. Now, we know we're going to learn if you eat meat like beef, of course, you have to wait 6 hours. Now, we're going to also learn that if you eat milk, you have to either wash your hands or both. You have to wash your hands and wipe out your mouth. That makes sure nothing is stuck to your hands. Otherwise, it'll get stuck to the beef. You can either chew like on a cracker or rinse it out. But this price is telling us dairy and chicken can be eaten no matter what. First dairy, then chicken, and then dairy, without doing anything. Of course, that's not how the Gemara is going to remain. Rav Yitzchak visited Rav Ashi. Aisile gvina ochal. They brought cheese. He ate it. Aisile bisra. They brought him beef. Ochal v'lo mashiyad. He ate it, and he didn't wash his hands. But he ate something like a piece of cookie or a cracker in between. He didn't wash his hands. Amri lei. It's only chicken and meat can be eaten sort of in an easy way, but low, where you need to wash your hands. How come he didn't wash his hands? Because that's only at night when you can't see whether your hands are dirty. But if in the daytime you see that your hands are clean, you don't have to wash it. Okay. Tanya. If you eat cheese and then you want to eat beef, mekaneach, you have to eat something like a cracker, something to clean out the mouth. He says you have to rinse it with water. Other means mediach means he has to wash his hands. Others say, we'll see how the Shulchan Aruch passes. Right? My mekaneach or my mediach. What do we mean? Okay, we'll continue this tomorrow. So now we're in heavy duty Yoredeya Sugyas. Basar B'chala.
What time tomorrow?
Tomorrow, let's learn 5 o'clock.
Okay.
5 o'clock. Tomorrow, Friday. 5 o'clock should be.
Perfect. Okay, shkoyach, Ernie.
Sure.